Hi, I'm Vicky Schofield. Welcome to my 40 days of colourful prayer journaling. This is day 27. I'm going to be doing another voiceover in real time of the transparent stone I did in my prayer journal so that you can see more clearly how to draw one of these stones. When you do something transparent, a glass or a clear crystal, whatever, the image underneath, the pattern underneath is slightly distorted. It's set off to one side. Get a glass paperweight or a drinking glass even. Have a look at this effect and see what happens when you look at something through glass like that. There is a slight distortion. And so what I did was just draw the lines of the pattern slightly offset as it came through where the gem was going to be. Have a go. It's an interesting effect, a visual illusion that helps the eye to see something as solid. Here you can see I've made a number of shapes on the page, and I've done the pencil lines to start the pattern nzeppel, one of the Zentangle tangles. The link is in the description below. It's a very painstaking pattern when you do it as small as this. I would not normally choose to do such a large area with such a small pattern. But I have thought about this since I've done it, about why it felt necessary, but I'll talk about that later. Here I'm drawing this pattern offset so that, because this is going to be a transparent gem, the gem will distort the pattern underneath. And so you can see I've slightly offset the lines, not by much. You don't need to do it by much. And I'm also, at the end, you'll see I fill in parts of it so it's darker than the surrounding pattern. It's a very satisfying pattern to do, quite painstaking. You're filling in each of those shapes. And you'll see I make mistakes at times. I don't notice where the line is. But you're trying to make the line with the pen inside the pencil shape, just rounding off the corners. It makes these lovely flower patterns. And here I'm filling in the middle of each of the flowers. Yeah, probably shouldn't have filled in those as well. It makes it a bit dark. But anyway, it does make it a bit dark. You'll see that when I start colouring over it. It's one of those, you do something and you think, maybe next time I wouldn't do that. But it makes an interesting effect. So I'm just using a marker to add a bit of colour. It's green. The gem itself is going to be orange. Just a bit of contrast for it. And these are the pencils I've chosen, so it's a range of oranges with the pale yellow to use as the blending, and a red to use as the dark. So this red is going to go down the edge. And here I've drawn a double line around them because I'm going to gold leaf around each gem. So I'll put the line in so that I don't do the pattern on that part. I skip through this because there's several points where I have to rub it out and go back because I keep losing where the highlights are supposed to be in the lowlights. And that's the trouble with doing a really strong pattern. You see, I went straight over the highlight there. I had to rub it out, put it in again. But you know, it's pencils, you can do that. It's all right. but it's best to do it at the beginning and not when you've done several layers. That would be a bit tragic. But on the first layer, you can just alter things quite easily. So this is the lighter orange. Now going round. What I'm trying to do is to have the colour fading to the bottom, to a sort of yellow at the bottom in the low light. Yeah, went straight over it. I'll come back, don't worry. And here's the darker red. So, yeah, I've speeded up the video a bit here because it does take a long time to do these. I've been quite painstaking on it. And now with the lighter colour, again blending it into the edge, so there's no hard change over from one shade to another. Now the lighter one again goes over all of it, so that you get this lovely mix of all of them, as each layer is mixed with the next layer. Now this is going further into the low light there. So it's the pattern underneath that tells you that this is transparent. Otherwise it could be like the blue stone. But because the pattern doesn't go under the blue stone and does under this stone, you know that this one is transparent and the other one isn't. So again, I'm going over it in the same colours, layering them on, blending them in at the edges, making sure it's even across the whole thing, because of course this is a very smooth, polished stone, or piece of glass, or amber. Could be all sorts of things really, couldn't it? Plastic, if it was highly polished. So with the pale yellow, blending it all in, making sure everything is smooth. And then back to the dark red, just to put that shading round the edge. It just helps give that illusion of 3 dimensions. and blending it all in. And now I'm putting white ink on. So here I am putting more highlights on. So not just the one that I left, but now I'm adding on top of the dark edge this streak of light. And it really does make a difference to how we see things when you add this extra highlight. Our eyes are used to knowing that means something shiny. So here are the two gems. One semi-opaque with the light shining through but you can't see through it, and the other with the pattern coming through. And when I ink in the rest of it, then it will be much clearer that there is that transparency to the orange gem. This is something I did a couple of years ago when I first started learning how to do these, and you can see there are a range of these different gems here. The middle one, totally opaque. There is a shine to it, but the light doesn't shine through it. It shines on it, but not through it. And then below that middle stone, there's a variety of transparent ones where I drew the pattern and coloured it in underneath, and then drew the gems on top. So the yellow gets distorted by the colour of the stone. And I just love the effect of this. And again, lots of highlights put on. I think this was acrylic paint I used on this, but just to give that shine at the edges. And then above that to the right, 4 little semi-opaque stones with the light shining through them, but you can't see through them. And then to the left of them, a stone. Oh, it's glass, isn't it? Or water. I can't decide which it is. And it's a completely different technique. Well, not completely different, but it's a technique where you draw your shape, your circle, onto your background. Having done your background, you don't do any more colouring. It's the background that provides the pattern and the colour, but you add a dark edge and then make the bottom part of it lighter. The top part of it you shade, not with colour but with pencil to make it that shaded, and then put highlights on. It's a fascinating technique to do. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it inspires you to have a go at this. They're great fun to do, to play around with. And if you get it wrong, you rub it out and start again. Have fun.